Bitcoin could be on the verge of a nice size move, and I figured I should bring you guys a quick market update on my current thoughts as well as my current position, since we are seeing some levels that I spoke of in my previous video. If you guys appreciate these market updates, please do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But with that, let's hop right into it. So I've actually entered a bit of a short position, and a lot of you guys probably know me as Moonboy by this point, because I have been so bullish in previous videos and that kind of thing, but I'm not afraid to short. I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons about my position here and why I took it. But yeah, just kind of going into my thought process here. You guys know that in my last video, we were trading in this little range down here, and I was actually quite bearish. And the fact that we had 1, 2, 3 touch points perfectly on this trend line, I was giving this line a little bit of weight. And so I actually had an alert set on this line. I had it to go every minute until I checked my phone, so that, yeah, just until it gets my attention. But basically that happened right as I was getting up for the day anyways. And I saw that we ended up having just this kind of fake out below that trend line. So what I wanted to see is, even on a shorter time frame, this is the hourly chart here, but even on the 5-minute chart, I was looking for some candle body closes below this trend line, and then respecting it, getting a bit of a rejection, flipping that support into resistance and looking for a short position there. That did not happen. We ended up just getting this little wick below that line. And even if I go to the 5-minute chart, I mean, that never even got a 5-minute candle close below that level. So this was a beautiful failed break. I know I've heard other traders talking about trading to the long side there. I was leaning a little too bearish, and I didn't pull the trigger on a long with this failed break, which is unfortunate. We even had this horizontal line back here, dating back to these lows here. So there was a lot of reasons to be bullish at that level. I overlooked them. I totally missed this long opportunity here, but whatever, that's fine. Never ended up taking a short down here with the failed break here. So whatever, all is good. But from there, so things were just looking a little more bullish than I was hoping. So I avoided the short there. What I'm looking at right now, however, is this would be an interesting level for the market to start to reverse. I know this pump we had yesterday was beautiful and everything, but I think it's kind of time that we may actually end up retesting this green trend line. And my fear with that is, if we test this green trend line again, I mean, we're starting to test it a little bit too much for my liking. As we keep tapping away at it, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, until it breaks. Obviously, it could still play support again beautifully. That's obviously not impossible. Just I don't like to see, especially after a failed break like this, I would like to see the bulls be able to carry the price without even having to rely on that support again, kind of start forming higher lows, getting away from that trend line there. But another thing, so I'm just kind of looking at a bigger move to the downside, because if we end up breaking this trend line, I think it makes sense that we actually drop all the way towards 16K or even lower. But just a few reasons why I ended up taking this position rather than FOMOing in long here. You guys will know that I was watching this red box as well, talking about it in my previous video. You know, this is one thing that concerns me about this short position, is the fact that this resistance here very well could flip into support right now, basically right where we're trading right now. Because typically I would love to see strong level of resistance flip into support. And you know, that is something I was watching for in my last video. I said if we end up breaking through this box and then respecting it as support, that could actually be quite bullish for the market. My only concern right now is how we got up here so fast, and what ended up happening is this is our first test at some of my favorite Fibonacci's, looking for a rejection. You guys who follow along quite often here, you'll know that I love pointing out the 786 and the 886 Fibonacci levels. And yesterday, some of you guys may have been lucky enough to be on a voice chat we were having in the MDX community in the private Discord group. We were talking about this. I had mentioned that, you know, we are starting to look a little toppy. Some indicators were starting to show bearish divergences and stuff like that, looking a bit overbought right as we were starting to trade around the 786 rejection point. So that was on my radar. And then we actually ended up wicking damn near perfectly to the 886. I ended up getting in a little bit lower than I would have liked to. However, that's totally fine. What I was looking at here basically is looking at this red trend line. You can see that we got a bit of a failed break there as well. So we had our temporary resistance here. We got above it, started closing candles back down here, just seeing a nice rejection there. So yeah, I was looking at this a little bit bearish. So as we started closing down here, I ended up taking a short position. The good thing about this position right now, for one, the 786, 886 fibs would be a perfect level for us to start setting lower highs if we are starting to set lower high structure. I mean, we could get that nice juicy short opportunity to significantly lower prices. And yeah, just this failed break to go with that. And then I just have my stop loss in a small profit at this point. So there is nothing I have to worry about this position right now. Like I said, I think that there is definitely a chance we end up bouncing, getting a little bit of a double bottom here on top of old resistance. That would be an absolutely beautiful bullish play. But since I was able to get into the short position around some of my favorite fibs, I wanted to take that opportunity. So like I said, right now I can't lose on that position. Stop loss just up here. And we're going to have to, I'm personally hoping for a bigger move to the downside there. But some of my reasoning for these targets way down here, and that would be down at 15.9K or so, all the way down towards about 15.6. So my reasoning behind that target with that green box there is, once again, just pulling Fibonacci's. This time I'm looking for support rather than rejection. So here, again, my favorite Fibonacci levels would be my 786 and 886. If we end up pumping to the upside, obviously these Fibonacci levels would change, and this structure that I'm looking at right now would be invalidated. But yeah, if we are to lose this green support level, flip some of these levels into resistance, I think it would make a lot of sense to end up testing these further Fibonacci's. We see these 786 and 886 coming up so often, just like I showed you, even on that smaller swing. The market loves to respect those levels, so I think it makes a lot of sense we would drop down there. If people start to panic, because let's face it, there is a lot of panic in the market, a lot of uncertainty about many things. If we blow right through this support box, makes a lot of sense that we would retest these current market lows, these bear market lows right around 15.5K. If we end up breaking through that, once again, if we get a failed break where we just get a little wick, but even a 5-minute candle closes above, looking like a very nice fake out on a large scale, I would definitely be looking at longing that. Obviously, there's a little bit of time between now and then, if it even happens. That being said, guys, don't be surprised if the floodgates open. I mean, I would be looking for that fake out play rather than the momentum play. If that momentum play happens, it could be beautiful, but it's not a risk I'm willing to take, because I think the chances of a fake out are actually quite good. But if we do end up dropping these levels, I mean, panic could really set into the market, and that's where we might end up just flushing right down towards those 14K, even all the way to 10K targets. It really depends what happens, if the market totally capitulates or what. But obviously that's looking ahead a little bit. As it stands right now, like I said, there is definitely the chance that the market is finding support at this old box from these higher low structure here on this little downtrend we had. It would make a lot of sense for that resistance to flip into support, but we're going to have to see. Like I said, since we dropped some of my favorite fib lines, or tested my favorite fib lines, I was willing to take a short just because I see the potential of a very large move here. I mean, if we end up dropping down to that 886, that's a very nice swing right there. So I'd be excited if that short plays out, but we're going to have to see. So anyways, guys, that's basically all I wanted to go over. I know I was ranting a little bit, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on what I'm currently looking at, just some levels that I'm interested in the market. Once again, if you appreciate my take, just do me a favor and hit that like button real quick, and subscribe if you haven't. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.